welcome to episode 23 of the Swimrun Show podcast. I'm Mike, and this week's guest is a new race director, David Trehane. I hosted the inaugural Swimrun Studland down on the south coast. His organisation is called iSwimrun. And we have a great chat with David, covering a bit of a review of the race and some bits and bobs, and almost an accidental exclusive new race launch, but it's not been launched yet. So, but you'll work out what I'm talking about. Big shout out to the Southeast Swimrun team, Paul and Jude, and I'm sure lots of other people who had looked like a great time down on the Thames Young Mariners Swim Run. There was a 2K and a 5K or something like this, very short and a very, very short race. So possibly it's definitely a short one. So I'm sure that was a lot of fun. I think Simon Griffiths was down there, former guest of the show, prolific swim runner, of course, and he's not a bad swimmer, just on his own. What else is happening? This weekend, 2 races in the UK. Another big weekend. It's Gower, Swimrun Gower, Gritty Rascals. If you'd like to sign up, there's still places. Gary told me he's extended the deadline for entry until Thursday lunchtime. Now, lunchtime could mean 12 noon. It could be 1 p.m. I don't know. But enter on Wednesday, and you don't need to worry about what time lunch is. So yeah, that should be good. I think the weather's stable. Never know. It's certainly warm this week. And there's also, as keen as mustard, I've got an event on Grafham Water on the Sunday. So maybe some people are doing a back-to-back Saturday-Sunday race in the UK. So yeah, big shout out to those races happening. Do get your British Swimrun ID, of course. If you want one, it's free to register and you get your points. Completely up to you whether you want them or not. It's just a bit of fun and hopefully encourage more people to get involved and show interest. The massive Keel Plus, Keel Mega. The Keel Mega. Thank you, Low Tide Boys and Arc Sports, for sending that on, which I won in the competition. It's huge. It's like a boat. My little toddler stood on it. He could probably surf it. It's a biggie. I've tried it once in the pool. I mean, it's too big for me. It's not built for me. I'm 5'10" on a good day, 75 kilos ish. I don't think it's built for me, but I imagine the bigger, the taller, maybe the chunkier swim runners it could work really well for. And I'm sure there's other aspects you could use this bit of kit for. I think it could be a really good. I used to do a lot of sea kayaking, and sometimes people used a float on their paddle. They say they're failing. Let's save this chat about sea kayaking for another day. Anyway, let's crack on. David Trehane from iSwimrun and race director for Swimrun Studland. Okay, so we have David Trehane from all the way down in... I don't know if you're still down in Studland at the moment, David. How are you doing?
I'm not far away from Studland. I'm in Bournemouth, which is just across the bay. And thanks very much for having me. It's great to be on, Mike.
No, well, pleasure. Well, so first off, how was it? How was the inaugural Studland Swim Run?
It was a blast. It was an absolute blast. It was one of those events. It was the first event for Studland, and I think it really comes down to location. We've got this most beautiful coastline down in Dorset. We've got hills, we've got bays, we've got lovely clean blue flag water. We've got a town, we've got rugged cliff path, we've got everything down here, and it's an area that I know quite well because I train on it for the swim runs that I do, and it just made sense to have a race on it, and it turned out to be absolutely fantastic. Didn't expect it to be as good as it was, so yeah, very happy.
Cool, good stuff. And it was, in terms, I know you had some challenging forecasts beforehand in terms of weather. Was that okay in the end?
It turned out beautiful in the end, actually. Yeah, it did. I mean, in the 48 hours running up to the race, we, and I think most of the people that had entered, were looking at the forecast so closely, and there were the final bit was that the BBC decided that we might have a thunderstorm. And
Right.
for any race that involves water, and indeed being up on the top of a hill of any kind, thunder and lightning is an absolute cancel race. That's it, gone.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it turned out beautiful. The rain cleared away, apart from a few showers. The wind was still there, but that had eased off a little bit. Yeah, 4 o'clock the day before, we decided that we were going to go for it, and that was it. Once we decided, there was no turning back. We were going to do it.
Good.
So yeah, it played ball in the end. It was a negotiation, but Mother Nature was nice to us in the end.
Right. And I'm sure, did you tweak, because you've always got a plan B and probably a plan C, etc. Did you stick to the original course, or was it slightly changed?
The course, we're fortunate in many ways because the prevailing wind down here is southwesterly, and we have effectively 3 bays that are operational for our swims. We have Studland Bay, Swanage Bay, and Durlston Bay. On a southwesterly, Durlston Bay kicks up. It is pretty rough. It gets hit hard. And the other thing with Durlston Bay is it's not accessible for anything other than boat if anybody had a problem and had to be extracted. Whereas the other 2 bays, Swanage and Studland, on a southwesterly, are beautifully flat, beautifully calm, lovely to swim in. So on the day, we had to scrap the Durlston Bay swim. And as the long course guys ran past it instead of swimming it, most of them looked down and went, "Yeah, right decision." It was nasty, and also the swim entry onto that is off rocks. So the visions of what could have happened were not worth doing.
Okay, cool. And was it just the long course that got changed, or was it? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay, we will come back to forecasts actually, because it is as race directors, as you know, it's an interesting one. But before that, Dave, what I want to hear about yourself. When did you get started in Swimrun, and what made you decide to organise a Swimrun race?
Should we do reverse on that one?
Okay. Yeah.
I think organising a Swimrun race was one of those situations where lives change over a period of time, and some doors close, other doors open, and that was a period of my life over the last sort of couple of years, and I become a little bit like Tigger when I'm thinking about Swimrun. I get excited and I start bouncing off the walls. It's something that lights me up and fires me up at every possible opportunity. Because I'm a bit like that, I had this lovely course I use down here, and an opportunity was given to me to do something with it, to share it with other people. So I took it. I don't remember the actual occasion. I think I was down in Cornwall, I think with the Valances and Ben Hallam, my swimrun partner. And I think I suddenly came out and said, I'm going to organise a swimrun race. That's what we did. So my background with swimrun, going before swimrun, I've always run, I've always swum. Put the 2 together, it's a match made in heaven. I came back to sort of fitness in my 40s as the kids got older. I think that's a common thread amongst many people. I started Swimrun 2016, 2017, something like that. As most people do when they start this sport, got completely and utterly hooked. It's been that way ever since. So that's that. I've done quite a few short ones. I've done very, very long ones, Côte Vermeille down in the south of France being probably my favourite of all of those, the ultra.
Yeah.
And I love every minute of it.
Oh, cool. Good. And so do you have any, it's different when you start organising, it all changes things a little bit. But do you have any lined up this year? I'm sure you've got a couple.
Yes, maybe.
Okay.
I might have. I've got one more for this year that I'm hoping to get in for this year. It's just going through council permissions and things like that at the moment. I can't say too much more about it at the moment.
Oh, sorry. Okay. You're possibly organising another one this year.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I meant organising. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
and as in terms of doing them, yes, I've got. I think I'm doing Buellwater in September. Where Ben and I are thinking about whether we can actually fit Coniston in with that as well. But yes, organising one, I might have one more this year.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to leave it there, David. Sorry.
I bet you're not.
Just what rough time of year are we looking at for that possible swim run?
Potential, if I can get it through the council, then we are talking a week in September.
Okay.
So it'll be an end of season job.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And will it be down on the south coast?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've got the course is sorted already, barring some tweaks dependent on permissions and things like that. But it's a very different course, and it's a fantastic course. Quite challenging, but in different ways.
Okay.
I'll say no more about that.
Okay.
The trouble is, I'm gonna tell you all about it. You'll drag it out of me, but I can't. I mustn't.
Okay, leave it there. Is it one distance option, or is it two? Okay, two distance. David's actually giving me sign language because he's not saying anymore. But yeah. So anyway, that's good to know. And September's going to be a busy old month. Lots of races going on. So that's cool to hear. So yeah. So
there's a lot going on in the UK, isn't there, Mike? Yeah. There's it's getting very difficult now to find dates that there isn't already another swimrun race somewhere in the UK already going. Yeah. And that's a challenge.
Yeah, and probably, possibly, almost more important than that is other local events going on as well, and then the other, all the tidal and various stakeholder implications, as you know. So it's other clashes with swimrun events, and then other. I mean, there's lots of triathlons, swims, runs across. Yeah. So it's a toughie. But
our big one down here is the last week in August, beginning of September, is the Bournemouth Air Show, and so our local councils basically put a complete block on anything that weekend or the weekends either side of it. So it gets pretty busy down here.
Right, yeah, and okay. So I'm just processing everything now. So cool. So I obviously want to ask more about the course, but I'm going to leave it.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I'll do that on another podcast, Mike.
There we go. Perfect. Did you have a good? So you had a good. I think you had quite a lot of new people to the sport at your race in Studland.
It was huge. We surveyed every single person at registration on whether this was their first swim run. And over the three distances, it was 55% were first swim runners, which is huge. And that wasn't just on like the shorter distances as well. We had a lot of people on the long distance for whom it was their first swim run as well. So massive kudos to everybody who came down and did it for the first time. It's a big step to take, and we have a bigger swim run family because of it. So fantastic. Kudos to everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And that was you had a good numbers as well, I believe, on the start line.
Yeah. We had a big drop off in the 48 hours up to the race because of the weather forecast. It was I think, and I don't blame them for a lot of new people looking at that weather forecast. It's like I'm doing something for the first time. This is potentially going to be gnarly. I'm not going to do it. So we had 330 on the initial sign up, and 240 of which actually raced on the day. So it was still big numbers. It wasn't the huge one that we expected it to be, but 240 is still a very good number, I think.
It is for Swimrun, definitely in the UK, and in most countries, apart from France. France are the only ones that get like 500 plus, going up towards more and more. But that's a great number, and that's quite a drop off. It's a shame. We'll come back to forecast definitely. But that's quite a few dropped off. Anyway, they make people are obviously entitled to do that, of course. But with the forecast, I've been involved in the outdoor industry for a long time now, and I've found the Met Office forecasting has feels like it's less reliable, and there's definitely more thunderstorms and lightning strikes forecast every summer than actually happen on the day. And it's I was researching the advice on the Americans. The Americans have got some really good advice on events and lightning, with regard to distance from the zone you're in. But it makes it really difficult for participants and yourself, organisers. And you're looking as a participant myself. I was looking at the forecast. I was racing in Clanberis, and obviously I was always going to go because I like bad weather actually. But I did put myself in Chloe's position everyone's got plan B, plan C, plan D. All the race organisers, it's almost one of the first things you do when you're planning a race. So I think participants can rest assured that people are kind of working in the background, and it's you've got to see boots on the ground, haven't you? You've got to see what it is like the morning of. And it sounds like it paid off.
Well, I think for us, we took. I was talking to our safety guys all the way through, and we took 6 different forecasts, and we basically took a view across all those 6 forecasts, that was how we decided that we're actually going to go ahead with it. But like you say, we've got a plan B, we've got a plan C. Pretty much, unless that nasty lightning and thunder was definitely going to come in, a race would have happened. Even if I learned this from Attila with the Malta race 2-3 years ago that Ben and I did. They literally had a storm blow through, a bit like it did. I think the year you did it, Mike.
2019,
2019. So we did it in 2022, I think, 2022. And a similar sort of storm came through, and they lifted the entire race up and plonked it on the other side of the island in 48 hours.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
So, that was, I took inspiration from that. And, when we were looking at weather forecasting, it's getting a bit tight. I literally went over to Studland and I designed a complete new race course that we would be able to do in those situations. Thankfully, we didn't need it, but it was there if we had needed it.
Yeah. And exactly the same with me when I'm organising my races. I've taken a lot of inspiration from how nimble and agile Otelo are at adapting, a lot more so than perhaps other sports. I know with triathlon, it's a bit more restricted with the bike, and if you've got a closed road, and it's a bit more formulaic. But that's one of the beauties of swimrun. There will almost always be a swimrun of some description. Lightning is the only the kind of the scary one, but it can always work. And I've seen several times Otelo have done stuff like that, just changed it, rejigged it, which is cool. So that's another great thing about the sport, isn't it? How dynamic not only you are when you're doing it, but the actual organisers can be really dynamic as well.
We've got to be, haven't we?
Yeah. Good stuff. And okay, so that's September. So I know yourself, Gary, Nikki Bailey and myself, we've been trying to set up this British Swimrun.
Mm.
How do you think things are going with what we've done so far?
I'm really happy with what we've done so far. I think the rankings are going to be a fantastic first step in British Swimrun. I think the British Swimrun website, Gary has done a lot of work with that, and it's looking fantastic. Next steps, because we're all so busy, we can't really do a huge amount with it during race season. So it is very definitely a winter job, and we've got a program of things that we want to try and achieve with it. But it's about growing the sport, isn't it? And it's about how we're going to grow the sport. And the steps that we're taking, I think, are the right ones. It'd be interesting to see what comes out in the wash between now and next race season. So far, very happy.
Yeah, and it's participants, some anyway, are showing an interest, and the registrations are going up on there, so that's good.
Yeah.
Did you have much chat about it at your race in Studland?
Didn't get a chance. It's like when you're a race organizer, you are head down in stress and the actual race itself. Anything outside of Studland 2024 is don't talk to me now. No.
Yeah.
Nothing. Can't take it. No. So no. That's very definitely conversations for post season, I think.
Yeah. And have you recovered now from your first race directing experience?
Yes. I mean, it was obviously my first time race directing a swimrun race. I've done other ones within surf lifesaving, but the big difference with those is that the other ones that I've been involved with are very quick to close down afterwards. Give it a couple of hours and you can walk away, and that's that. Studland has taken a week to wash the bibs and make sure all the signs are down, and all that sort of stuff. It's not just the day itself, well enough, Mike, but it is not just the day itself. It's months and months of planning beforehand, and then a good week afterwards, until you can actually say it's done and dusted. So even now I've still got some loose ends to tie up.
The afterwards is definitely not to be underestimated, isn't it? All those little jobs
and lots of lessons to be learned as well.
Okay, yeah.
Lessons of how you're going to make it better next time, and there are plenty of those for Studland. It went very well. It was very well received. I've been so stoked by the feedback as well. So stoked. But there is plenty to learn to make it better. It's never going to be perfect on the first one, if it is ever perfect. But we've got to just make sure that we're getting better every time. We're doing this for the participants. At the end of the day, we're here to make to give them a good time, and we're determined to do that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And you had 55% new guys, and the rest must have, I suppose, done one or two before, or maybe lots before. Did you how in terms of the timing? That's always interesting when you're estimating first finisher, last finisher. I'm just looking at the results. How did you? Did it kind of play out how you thought it would?
It was faster.
Was it?
Yeah, it was faster. Okay. I've not got it in my head at the moment. What time the first team came across? I think it was about 2:40, 2:45, something like that.
I could see male solo on the long course. John Waters 2:40.
Yeah. I mean,
team. Yeah, team two PFH 2:37.
Yeah. I mean, 2:40 is very quick. going over that course. Our photographer Ryan Angel, he was on an e-bike and trying to keep up with them, and he was hard pushed. He was hard pushed to try and keep up with them.
Right.
So yes, it was very, very quick indeed, and very impressive.
Suppose. Yeah. Did you drop one swim on just the one swim on the long course?
Yeah. So they got an extra hill climb to do instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at the back of the pack, was it about how you thought it would play out?
Yeah.
More or
Yeah.
less?
They came in a bit quicker than I thought as well, to be fair. We were done and dusted by about 2 o'clock, something like that, on all courses. So yeah, that was very, very good. Yeah, it was roughly where I expected it to be, apart from the speed of the leading pack on the long course.
Okay, cool. Well, that's always good, isn't it? It's good to. I always find that helpful looking to the following year. And in terms of the new guys, did you have? I know you've got a nice FAQ section on your website, and did you have many questions about kit, or was it just people just whatever?
It's the most common question we get asked. About every part of kit. What's this about pull buoys? Which trainers? Do I have to wear a wetsuit? It's always the case, I think, with anything to do with new people coming to swimrun, and that's that part of. I think that's where swimrun is so great, because it is an easy sport to enter. It's not an expensive sport to enter either. We don't need to buy expensive kit. Sure, if you get a state-of-the-art wetsuit, it's going to set you back a few $100. But people can build up to that, and we did a couple of introduction to swimrun days, 4 in fact, introduction to swimrun days in May and up to the first week in June. We had 20 odd people to each one of those, and spent the morning effectively talking and doing swimrun. And one of the big things from that is showing people how to use a tether, and actually how to people that were in a couple, how they could team up, because they had absolutely no idea, and it was a game changer for many of them. So that was a really good piece of kit talk, and talking about the pull buoy as well was a really popular piece. And I think that's going to continue.
Yeah, there's definitely more involved with the teams, and that whole the first time people try the tow line is a step forward, definitely.
For those that are a slightly weaker swimmer, to go to teach somebody how to use the tether to its best effectiveness, to swim behind somebody who's a stronger swimmer, when they do it for the first time and they see how ridiculously easy their swim is, that's a game changer.
Yeah,
it's a game changer.
Definitely. No, I just remembered, actually, I had someone on one of my workshops who was doing a race. Paul, I'll just have a look for him on the old. Yeah, there he is. Paul Lockhart Thomas, male solo, 3:51. Well done, Paul. That was his first swim run. I know he was a good runner because he's done Comrades ultramarathon a few times, but his swimming was still. So yeah, good to see people moving. It's taking on that first step, and those intro courses. There's quite a few now around the country, so yeah, check those out if you can.
It's a really good way to get into it, isn't it, Mike?
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure people have fed back how much they learned on the day as well as the first timers, for sure. And even when you've done a few, you still learn things, don't you?
Always.
Every race is different.
Always. I think the other thing that comes later on as you get a little bit more serious is learning hydration and nutrition as well. That's a big one. It was, if you get a hot day, if Studland had been blazing hot, then it would have been a different story to what it was. But actually learning how your body works and how you do nutrition and hydration is a big key thing if you're actually competitive.
Yeah, definitely. What was the water temp on the day in the end?
Just under 15.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't very warm.
Yeah, but I like that temperature for swim run. As long as it's not too long a swim. But yeah, it's all right.
I think it's fine if you're wearing a wetsuit.
Yeah. But did you have was the option to not wear a wetsuit?
No, it's 16 is our threshold, and anything below that, neoprene of some sort is required. You know, and again, it's that thing that people who haven't done swimrun before often underestimate how cold you can get when you get out of the water. You know, swimming in the water in skins can be absolutely fine, but it's when you get out and you start running, especially when there's a wind. A lot of people underestimate just what effect that has on you. That was a we had to make neoprene compulsory. Anything under 16, and we wouldn't be doing a responsible job if we didn't, to be honest.
Yeah, good stuff. And everyone was happy with that. They get that. I think most people are pretty good at. They kind of want to put neoprene. Most people want to put a wetsuit on.
You do get the odd person that is adamant that they've swum the channel in skins and therefore they're going to be absolutely fine. And that's fine. I mean, hats off to them. I couldn't do that. But again, it's this wind chill thing when you get out. And so we have to have a threshold, and I think as race organisers, we've got a duty to stick to it.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. And so that's September. I keep thinking about.
Oh my! I've not even got it past the council yet. Let's just park it for a bit.
Okay, let's. Okay, would I take it? Everyone was happy in terms of permissions of with Studland and all that stuff. That was all good. Yeah.
We've everyone was very happy with it, and Swanage Council were very happy. National Trust were happy. We're just now making sure that everybody is happy for us to put next year's date in the diary. So we are pretty much there with next year's date now. Stakeholders were very happy indeed, which is great. Cool. Which is lovely. Yeah, it's bringing something new to the area, which is good.
Yeah, definitely. And I must ask you about the name iSwimrun.
Somebody got we Swimrun. I'm in all honesty, I can't actually remember how that came about. I can't remember. It was one of those middle of the night things, I think quite possibly the logo came into my head before anything else. So we went with it. It does what it says on it does what it says on the tin. That's what we do, right?
Yeah. It's a bit selfish though. Just I, not we.
True. True, but I mean, it would have been we.
And on that point, what was the spread of, I mean, I can see all the results there, but roughly what was the spread of teams, team starters against solos?
Quite low. I haven't got the actual number on it, but it was quite low compared to solos. Most people were solos.
Okay.
And I think that's the way that the sport is, especially with new people, because they haven't actually found somebody else that they want to do it with yet. So one of the things I think we'll be doing for next year is just seeing whether we can encourage people that maybe raced as solos, but they seemed to find themselves next to the same person all the time. Maybe we can actually encourage some more teams to come through and create more teams. I think it'd be great to do that. I love swim running as a team. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I can see. Yeah, just in case some of the listeners haven't clocked the kind of distances, I'll just read them out there. The short or the intro was 6.4k running, 2k swimming. Middle 9.3k running, 1.8k swimming, and then the long 18.6k running, 4.8k swimming. They're the plan A routes. So that's kind of ballpark figures for everybody. And you could have a team on the long and the middle. Was that
and the
right?
middle. Yeah. The short was solo.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, there we go.
So I think that worked out quite well. In terms of distance, it was quite a big jump from middle up to long. But it was we couldn't do anything longer than a middle in terms of the route, because the turn point once you get down into Swanage, then that turn, well, you might as well just do the long. So yeah, I think we got it right in terms of the distance splits. I'd like to add a bit more onto the long distance, but that's for another race.
Okay. And that's your long and your short Plan A routes have got a good percentage of swimming there. 4.8 swim.
It's about 22% on both of those. The middle, you got a smaller percentage because the difference between the middle and the short is you've got a bigger run up to the top of Ballard, down and back down again, but the swims are identical. Okay. So yeah, that was how we extended the short out to a middle. And in the end, the long cutting that extra swim out, I think we still managed 20% swim on that one. So cool. It did cut the percentage down a little bit, but not too much.
Cool. And was there anything that kind of any unexpected thing that stood out from the day, or
well, how about a bomb scare?
Oh yes. I did see something about a bomb scare. Yeah, what was that?
God. You couldn't write it. You really couldn't. It's like something out of a fairy tale. Well, not a fairy tale, a nightmare. As a race director, when your safety manager on Swanage Bay comes over the radio and says, "Yeah, race control. This is Swanage Bay safety. Go ahead." He says, "Yeah, we have a suspected ordnance on Swanage Beach." Oh my goodness me! No, it can't be happening. You please prepare yourself that the Coast Guard are on the way and they may put an exclusion zone around it.
Oh God!
Oh, just the worst. As it turned out, number one, we managed to get all of our people through before Coast Guard turned up to put the 30-meter exclusion zone in that they did.
Right.
So that was fortunate. I mean, it was not actually on the course, but it was close to it.
Right.
And 30 meters would have closed off part of the swim to run section.
Oh.
And secondly, it turned out, thankfully, not to be ordnance. It looked like ordnance, but it really did look like ordnance. But it turned out to be some form of gas canister of some sort. Not quite sure what, but it was harmless in the end, thank goodness. But yeah, that's my risk assessment didn't take that into account, that's for sure.
Something to add, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, good stuff. So that sometimes you do get these messages on the radio that you kind of don't want to hear.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Just
reminded me, it was all relatively smooth.
Okay, good. It reminded me of the race briefing at Uto this year. Stefan said, "Oh, and the UN are doing some live training, blah blah blah. And so if you see any soldiers with guns on the course, don't worry. They're just." It's quite funny.
Oh crikey! Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, but yeah. So there we go. Well, David, thank you very much for coming on, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about September and future races, of course. All in good time.
All in good time. It's only a maybe at the moment. Let's wait until it's a definite, and then I can talk about it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, David, and hopefully it might see us somewhere on a race start somewhere.
I very much look forward to that, Mike. Yeah, I think it's a long time coming. This year is a bit quiet for me on actual doing races, but I've made a commitment that next year I'm going to be back on it and get a full race program in. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that.
Good stuff. Cool. Okay, David. Have a good rest of the season.
And you, Mike.
Cheers,
and hope everyone else has a great season as well. Go out and do some swim run. It's fantastic.
There we go. Possibly a sneak preview into another race in September in the UK. it's going to be a busy month in September. I can tell you, there's so many races in the UK. Just a heads up, the Isles of Scilly have got their long one on the 1st of September. Wes is organising that with Scilly 60 is the organisation. 7th of September is a Hokey Cokey Gribbin with Mad Hatter Sports, John down in Cornwall, former guest of the show, of course. South East Swimrun Series on the 8th, the Sunday. I've got an event there. Beale Water, as keen as mustard, same day. A few events, a few race distances, but the big one on the 8th of September. I am biased. I'm organising it. It's Dovey X Swimrun in Abu Dhabi on the Welsh coast. Beautiful, beautiful swimming. Extraordinary trail running on the Wales Coast Path, and it's great. It's got all sorts. Slightly even better course this year. Jetty jump is still there. Depending on what time you get there will determine the height of the jump, because it's a tidal situation. Most of the swims are tide assisted, and yeah, it's good. Get there, 8th of September. I'll be there, pointing and shouting. Hopefully having a few beers afterwards in the yacht club. And then the 14th of September, following weekend, there's Jersey. I mean, big one that. 15th of September, Sunday, Lock to Lock in Oxford. 22nd of September, Sunday, Coniston. And then the final weekend, what a weekend to go out on. The 28th of September, the Eliminator in Liverpool, the second edition after the success of this year's May event. And on the Sunday, the 29th, Neen Swimrun Survivor. So, I mean, anyone who does a double header there on the 28th and 29th, you guys are going to be so fit by Monday, Tuesday. Honestly, it's totally possible. Last reminder, Gary, I promised Gary I'd shout out Swimrun Gower, of course, this weekend, this Saturday. If you can't sign up, if you can't race, he's also looking for marshals. Get in touch. It's all on the website, swimrungower.com, I believe. Check it out. I think entries close, as I said earlier, on Thursday. Other than that, let's go. Let's train, let's race, let's have fun. And yeah, hopefully see lots of you soon.